And welcome back to me chow, unless you are new here. My name is Rusty, and this is me chow, where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And welcome to the next in line for this little fall lineup, and that is 2024's Stream, which I was very happy to get a hold of this. Pop Market had a few copies, and I'm like, oh yeah. Stream. Stream was released in 2024, like I said. It was directed by Leavy. I've got a problem with you. And Della Salla. What's wrong with your parents, man? Jason Leavy and Michael Leavy. It stars Jeffrey Combs, Charles Edwin Powell, and Danielle Harris. If your parents make a mistake and do something like that, it's not totally offensive to say, no, I'm changing my middle name. Della Salla. I mean, if your last name was Della Salla, that would be fine. But Stephen Della, and your last name is Salla, but I'm going off on a tangent. So, Steam was released in 2024. It stars Jeffrey Combs, Charles Edwin Powell, and Danielle Harris, and is chock full of horror cameos. You have Dee Wallace, you have Felissa Rose, who played the girl who was a boy in Sleepaway Camp. So, and you have Tony Todd is in this movie, and a interesting cameo at the end. You have Tim Curry, who you don't really see him, but you hear him. Well, you see him, but he's got a mask on and shit. But you've got a lot of little cameos in this movie. And this is like a long movie. This is like 2 hours and 4 minutes, I think. 2 hours and 3 minutes. So, but that's fine. That's cool. It gave a lot of, it just meant more kills, more stuff, more character development, more. I loved it. So I really like this movie. However, it won't be reflected in the score. It won't. Well, it will be reflected in the score, but I mean, it won't be reflected as much as it could have been in the score, because it hit one of my triggers, and I've heard people tell me their triggers. Someone's like, "Well, I can't stand a movie that a kid gets killed in," or "I can't," my particular "don't go there" is this, or "don't go there" is that. Well, this one really hit mine, and you'll probably think that it's just as silly as I would think yours is. Who did I hear recently? Somebody did that here recently. I was watching a stream or something, and they were talking about a certain movie, and people, they were talking about the substance, and then somebody was suggesting other movies, and Revenge came up, and they were like, oh, I don't do rape, vengeance. No, I don't do that. And I'm like, well, first of all, Revenge is not a rape vengeance movie. There is a rape in it, yes, but that's not what that was about. She did not kill them because of the rape. She killed them because they killed her, and she came back to life and murdered them for murdering her. It didn't have nothing to do with the rape. Well, they killed her because of the rape, but it's not a rape revenge movie. But that wasn't the point, was it? The point was everybody seems to have their little thing. Well, this movie touches mine, and it touched it egregiously. I don't know why that struck me. Oh no. Are we going to have one of those? It tickled my trigger egregiously. Oh, fuck. So, we have Danielle Harris, who plays, a mother, and then you have, what's his name, Roy, is her husband, and they have an asshole daughter named Taylor, and they have a son named Kevin. Kev. So the daughter is one of those, drinky slutty things that is causing a lot of problems. And they decide that they're going to go back to the Pines. The Pines is a resort that they had went to many, many years ago, and it had a good time back when Taylor was 10, so it was like 7 years ago. And they had went to the amusement park that's nearby and all of that. So they decide to go there and have a family getaway. What they are unaware of is that Dee Wallace, who is the matron of this place, she is horribly murdered at the beginning of the movie. And Jeffrey Combs pretends to be the matron now. And they have, have you ever seen, don't you love the way I talk to you like I'm talking to you personally? But have you ever seen Unfriended Dark Web? These are the people that were playing the game in Unfriended Dark Web. Unfriended Dark Web was this game, but we get to see it from like a different side, a different angle. We actually get to see the workings of this game. This game was being played in Unfriended Dark Web. And it's being played here. So, this asshole, Lockwood, he runs the game. And the game is 4 notorious killers are going to lock the building up like Belko Experiment. They're going to lock it up like Belko Experiment. And then they are going to run a betting system because people are watching it out there on the web. And they are going to kill the guests. And whoever gets the most score, whoever gets the most kills and bonus kills and stuff like that wins the grand prize. So it's like a battle royale, a manhunt battle royale. And you have this really double cheeseburger looking dude. You have a really spooky guy that you don't really get to see him much. And you have a brother and sister team that kind of act like the people from Strangers. They act all silly and goofy. And this is from the people who did Terrifier 2 or 3, and you can tell that in the way that the brother-sister team, who are players 3 and 4, I guess. At least that's what the box says. They walk and move and all like the clown does, a little bit. It's kind of like that. So the party gets started right now. But what they don't know is that Taylor, who of course is going to sniff out the nearest boy, has hooked up with these 2 French guys, and she actually sneaks out and she goes and she's hanging with them, and she like picks one of them, and they go up onto the roof and they're smoking weed and decide to take off and go to a concert. So unbeknownst to the gamers, somebody has left. Well, actually 2 people have left. So we start seeing all of these really fabulous kills, and one of the first one really shocks me, and that is because Danielle Harris nearly gets like beheaded with it, like in Blood Moon, which is coming up, with a barbed wire garrote, and it's like, I was shocked when that occurred because I was like, they killed Danielle Harris? It's only like 50 minutes into the movie and it's 2 hours long. I thought she was going to... Okay. So they murdered Danielle Harris. And I'm like, okay. So the dad comes back. He finds her dead on the floor. Tears. Takes his son. Because they had been out hunting for fucking Taylor. Right. Now they know something's up. They run into this black guy who is actually Tim Reid, who is the guy from WKRP in Cincinnati. If you ever saw that show, but that's what he's from. They run into him, and I was suspicious of him right from the beginning, you know, but he's like, I can't get out either, and I went outside to smoke, but I can't get out the door. So they kind of like team up, him and this guy, this detective. He's a former detective, and Kevin, you know, and they're going to stick together and try to get out of this alive. So you see all of these pretty amazing kills because they're picking off the guests one after the other. And like I said, the girl from Sleepaway Camp, she has a funny scene where she comes out yelling at her husband, and it's pretty funny. So you have all these really interesting, inventive kills in this movie. And then that's when you see that Taylor has started to having second thoughts about having went to that concert. And I'm like, are they going to turn around and come back into the middle of all this shit? And Lockwood is a total asshole. And they're counting down the kills, counting down the thing. Then we get to that part that I told you about where they egregiously bothered me. It's 2024 and we are going to have I'll keep it short, but it's from the heart, just between me and you. The honeymoon kill. You know, he had rented the honeymoon suite, and I can see a couple of you out there going, oh, I know what he's going to say. The honeymoon kill. This couple that they had rented the honeymoon suite to, they are going at it in the hot tub. And her boobs are flying everywhere like a tennis match. I'm talking Wimbledon doesn't have as much going on. You know, her boobs are flying like a tennis match. And they get attacked by the brother-sister team. And he gets killed. She gets killed too. Very inventive and very gross. But they go extremely overboard with her. They show her everything. Front, back, running down the hall. Dude stays firmly seated in the hot tub, completely covered with water, while he gets strangled. The brother kisses him, strangles him, drowns him, and that's where he lays. What year did I say this was released? 2024? Let me ask you something. Just between us. You straight guys out there. What's your problem with a guy's ass? You got one. Now, I can understand if you've got an ass that looks like when you stand up out of your chair and go walking down the hall in your sweatpants, your ass looks like two pigs fighting under a blanket. I can understand why seeing a firm, bounce a quarter off of military ass might bother you. Might make you go, well, you know what? I don't like seeing that dude's ass because it reminds me that mine looks like two pigs fighting under a blanket. I guess I could get that. Is that your problem? I don't think it is, though, do you? I don't think that's it. I think it must be something else. See, maybe it could be something like that you're one of those. I'm not really sure. But I don't really understand why in 2024 they would make that girl get stripped down like a porn star, throw her out in the hallway, show you everything she's got, and keep the guy seated in the tub and don't even show the crack of his ass. That was an egregious score error. I don't play that unequal nudity thing. It makes me feel weird. I'm like you're sexist, misogynistic or something. Because if you made the girl actress do that, How come the dude couldn't show his ass for the straight women out there? It's all about you, isn't it? Could be, though, like I said, your ass looks like two pigs fighting under a blanket, and seeing a hot military one makes you want to, makes you feel bad. Does it make you cry? Does it make you feel upset? Or is it something else? Let me know in the comments. So, aside from the honeymoon kill being pretty cool, you had that egregious, disgusting display of whatever the fuck that was. And I think it was very unfair to her. I wouldn't have done it if I was her, but then again, you know, whatever. Movies. Gotta make money. It's a job. But I guess we can move on now. I told you I would keep that short. So, we're getting to see all of these really cool kills. And then we see Taylor talk the French guy. I know his name, but I can't be bothered. I saw she comes back with the French guy, and Lockwood gets alerted that there's a security breach. Not going out, but coming in. So she actually comes back into the middle of this chaos. And then I guess it's a flashback to Friday the 13th, right? Or was that 1 or 2? Where, you know, the couple in the bed and he puts the pole through both of them. Well, it's a flash to that because they get run through. And I was like, did they just kill Taylor? Or was the French boy thick enough to not let it go like completely through her and kill her? But she thought she was dead there for a minute. And then they go on about their business. You think possibly she's dead, possibly she's not. But you're seeing all of these scenes, and you're already suspecting, like, that ex-cop or the retired cop. You're already suspecting him because he's just not, you know, you're like, dude, why don't you shoot? Something's up with you. I think you're a plant. I think you're part of this. Well, it turns out he was. He was there to rig the system. So he had actually helped Roy and Kevin get out of several situations, which Lockwood took that as cheating. And I think the last thing that you want to do in a game like this is cheat. These people really aren't playing. So when they reveal that, and he like walks away, you know, and he's like, help me. And he's walking away, look, well, you know, I helped you once. I can't help you again. I've got my kill in. So I'll see you later. And you're like, see, I knew you were a bastard. You're a dirty little bastard. I knew it. So he goes and finds the control room where he's going to like rig the game, and he does like rig it because he knows that Roy supposedly is the last, and Roy and Kevin are the last, and he rigs it by betting against Roy so that he can get the jackpot. Well, number one, it don't work out very well because Roy actually manages to get away from that guy, him and Kevin. And Lockwood finds the dude in the control room, and he kills him ugly, like with a drill into his head. Same thing they did to Dee Wallace. Put the drill in her head. This movie is very gory. It's got a lot of gory kills. So they're going on about their business. We are really down to Roy and Kevin. And then we see Taylor wake up. And I'm like, see, I didn't think that pole went all the way through. Maybe Frenchie had enough meat to keep it from doing it, and he did. So she pushes him off, and it did go in her, but like not in a fatal way, you know, and so she pulled it out, and then they were going about their business, and then I'm trying to think of when they all got killed. The three one, there were these three idiots, two girls. It looked like two gay girls and their gay friend. were in this room. And they come out, and the twins, or well, the brother-sister team, they got them. And what they did to that boy, they like ripped his shirt off and played tic-tac-toe with knives on his chest. And that was like really gross and painful looking. And this is after they nailed him to the door with big, look like train track spikes. And then they played tic-tac-toe on his chest before they killed him. That was pretty gross. The girl, one of the girls, she got killed pretty quick. But the other one, now she was cool. She was a fighter, right? And the sister, she almost gets away. The sister and her go at it, and she actually kills. So she actually kills the sister. Player 3, I guess. She actually kills her, and I was like really rooting for her because I'm like, uh-oh. You thought she was just an incidental kill, right? Nuh-uh. She actually took one of the players out. Brother was furious, of course. She almost gets away. She does manage to get out the window, and then she lays back and relaxes for a second, and I'm like, well, there's where you fucked up right there. Because then she looks up, and player 1 has got a shovel and beheads her with it. It didn't work out well. However, kudos to you, because you did take out that crazy bitch. So that was good. Finally, there's nobody left, but what is that? Player 2 and yeah, because that other guy, he got killed too. You'll have to watch it. But there's 2 players left, player 1 and player 2. Or player 1 and player 4. And so Lockwood like calls it like he doesn't know Taylor's alive. And he calls it like the final showdown. So they get double points, whoever can kill the kid, because he thinks that Roy is dead. But Roy had killed player 1 and was wearing his suit. So he's thinking that it's one in him left. So the dad comes up with a plan that's like, you hold your breath, and I'm going to pretend I killed you, and I'm going to walk out with you. And they almost get away with that because, you know, the brother, he sits there and lets them walk by like, gosh, oh, well, fuck, I missed it. You win. But Lockwood is watching really close, and he's like, something's wrong here. And he rewinds one of the tapes, and he can see Roy's face under the mask when he takes the mask off for a second, when he puts the mask on. Oh, it's when he had to reveal himself to his son because Kevin thought he was fixing to die. And so the dad showed him, it's me. Well, he had that on tape, so he knew that that was fake. And he told the other one, he's like, it's a fake. Kill him both. So the brother comes after him, and they kill him ugly. That was a good kill too. And they ended up like smashing his head on the stove and burning him and shit like that. That was a really good kill. And then you had the final showdown, and that is where they're in the lobby and Lockwood comes out. And Lockwood, you know, Jeffrey Combs, Lockwood comes out and has the showdown with them, and he starts to Taylor comes out as well and helps her dad get him down. That was pretty ugly because the dad gets so pissed off because of the things he's saying. He tries to axe him, and because of the things he's saying about how too bad you'll never get to see what your wife looked like when, you know, and your daughter is skewered and stuff like that. So that pissed Roy off so bad that he ended up getting loose and what appeared to be beat Lockwood to death. Very, very ugly. However, that's when Taylor appears, unfortunately, because he thinks that they've won, like they're going to be able to get out. Unbeknownst, but he's still dressed up as player one, right? He's still wearing that uniform. So he's sitting there helping Kevin and hugging Kevin when Taylor comes around and then stabs her fucking dad, skewers him, because she thought it was player one killing her brother. So that was like a really horrible scene. And then in the back of my mind, I'm also going, wait a second, don't count Lockwood out yet. You know? And sure enough, even though you have that horrible scene, Lockwood comes back and attacks her, and they have this big fight, and then she ends up like axing him to death. And that's pretty gory and gory. Like I said, it was a very gory movie. And then you see the next day, or that morning, you see the EMS and the sheriffs and everybody's there. And this EMS guy is giving her and boy coffee. So I guess the dad really did die or something. It was like, that's fucked up. But as he walks away after, giving them a drink, he's looking down at his mobile, and he's obviously one of the viewers of this particular thing, because they're announcing that there will be another upcoming show soon, right? And it's got the highlights of this one. And you then see them everywhere. Like you see random people in their homes, like waiting for the next one to start. And then that's where Tony Todd comes in, because he plays the next narrator, the future Lockwood. He plays the next narrator and talking about how this one was so good and we're going to have a really good one next. And Tim Curry is like the headmaster of that one. And you get to see a bunch of kills again. And this is like halfway through the credits that they show you scenes from the next thing. And it's like they pack a lot of gore and kills into just like 3 minutes, showing you highlights of what's coming. And then the movie goes off, and I'm like, that was really, really fun. And I guess for people who think a 2 hour plus horror movie, but you don't really notice it. I really didn't notice. It didn't seem long to me, is what I'm saying, because after you get past the first 15 minutes of setup, first you had that D. Wallace's horrible kill to start you off with. But I'm talking about like the home life stuff where you have like 15 minutes is all it is, where they're at home and she gets brought by the cops, for trying to steal liquor from the store. And they're taking her on to, they come up with this plan to go to the Pines. All of that and they get there and they settle in and they have all these little family jokes and all. That's only about 15, 18 minutes. So you have the intro horrible kill of D. Wallace. Then you have like these 18 minutes of backstory and stuff. And then the killing starts. And from then on, so it really didn't seem to me like it was 2 hours long. So it certainly didn't seem like a long movie. And that's because there was shit going on all the time. How many kills were in this movie anyway? Like 30? 40? It was just like a lot of shit. And I think that's the reason why it doesn't seem as long as it is. But it is 2 hours and 3 minutes long, but it doesn't seem that way to me. It didn't seem that way to me at all. When it was over, I was like, that was 2 hours? Didn't feel like 2 hours. But that's good then, right? So the only thing that it did wrong was that misogynistic stuff. And Michael Leavy, whoever you are, you can suck it and kiss it. What you didn't show, you can kiss. There was no reason to do that to that poor girl. And yet let that dude just sit there in the water because his ass is too precious to be seen on film. But you showed everything she had. Oh, it's not my fault. It's the straight guys out there who don't want to see a butt. Okay, well, women are 52% of the population, so I just don't know what to tell you. Got a whole population of gay guys and straight women, and you just said to you. Instead, we're going to show you Titty Wimbledon. Okay. And then top it off with some bush, and then top it off with some butt, and we're just going to show you everything she's got. But I'm not going to go there more. So that was Stream. I did give it a 7 out of 10 because of the egregious. Now you may go, okay, dude, all right, Jesus. So if they had made Honeymoon Boy stand up for just a second and show his butt, what would you have given him then? Well, I would have considered it fair and would have given it an 8 out of 10. So it was so egregious that you knocked off a whole point? Yes, I did. I did, because that wasn't just a little bit. That was a lot. Like I said, it wasn't slightly. It wasn't a bit. It was egregious. So, Michael Leavy, whoever you are, fuck you. Fuck you. I guarantee you, whoever you are, I'm not even going to bother to look. But I bet if I opened up, I bet if I opened up this director, Michael Leavy, I bet if I opened it up, you got an ass like two pigs fighting under a blanket, and that's why that boy's ass scared you. I just have a feeling. When I click stop on this, I'm going to go do that. Just to make sure that my spidey senses are up to par. Let me know if you have seen Stream. I think it's wonderful. Oh, and by the way, we're not even going to go into it, but it's a bootleg. It's a official, we have permission bootleg. Just letting you know that. Anyway, let me know if you have seen Stream. I think it's a wonderful movie. I had a lot of fun with it. Don't let the 2-hour runtime scare you. Of course, well, I don't know. You people that like 75-minute movies might be scared about anything. Nothing can save you. But I loved it. I like long movies. Weirdly enough, though, this didn't feel like a long movie. It was very strange. But let me know if you have seen Stream, what you think about it, and I will see you in the next video. Next, we're going to Australia, and we're going to have a little fun with barbed wire in Australia. Always remember, never forget, you're a very, very special person, no matter what anybody tells you. And I will see you in the next one. Coming up is Blood Moon. Bye-bye.